Good morning, everybody. Welcome to this Friday's webinar from Anicca Digital. It's myself, Anne Stanley. I'm the founder and CTO, and I'm the host today. And I'm very pleased to have Rachel Cryan, who is one of our social strategists. She's here to help and assist with the webinar this morning. Morning, Rachel.
Hi, good morning.
And then I've got David Meakin, who is our special guest. He's from Shopline, and he's going to kick the morning off. So welcome, David. Thank you so much for coming to and presenting today. So you're in London, I think, today, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm indeed. Yeah, I'm still in the comments. Someone's in Thailand. I'm very jealous of them.
Now, Shopline are actually sponsoring our e-commerce lunch. So if any of you are near Leicester and are interested in our e-commerce lunch, it's actually next Thursday afternoon. And I'm going to be talking about voice agents. So I'm just going to put a little bit of a plug in for the e-commerce lunch. I'll put a link in later on that you can share. But I'm gonna shut up and hand over to David and Rachel. So I'm going to turn my mic off and then pass over to the guys. And David's going to start off by doing a little bit of an introduction to himself and what's happening with social commerce. So over to you, David.
Thanks, Anne. My name's David. I'm the commercial director at Shopline. We're an e-commerce platform where we power the online side of 600,000 brands, some of the social sides as well for some Titan brands like Lego, Lush, Denby, loads of cool brands wherever they shop online and offline. And so today I will talk about just the social part of how we're making brands grow online. Obviously, a lot of you will be aware, I guess, of social commerce generally, but just as a trend, last year, 110 million social commerce transactions happened in the US. In the UK, that was worth about £7.4 billion. And in Asia, where we're headquartered, it was even bigger. It's exponentially bigger. Where in China alone, it was about $475 billion of turnover just on social commerce, which is quite major. And that trend is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So today I'm going to talk about how we power some of the brands through their social channels and how it actually is not rocket science and can be done relatively easily. So hopefully that slide has changed on everyone's screen. There's 3 different ways that you can connect to all the social commerce platforms like Facebook and Instagram and WhatsApp and TikTok to sell your brands and get recognition online. One is through live shopping, live streaming. The second one is through chat commerce, so through Instagram Messenger, for example. And the third one is through posts that you might put out for Black Friday or for a new product launch. And slide should have changed again. All of the social commerce platforms are moving in this direction. And what we're basically offering is a back-end system for you to manage both your website and all of these things in one place. But before I go on a bit more about any of those individual marketplaces and social channels, Rachel, do you want to dig into a bit more information about TikTok Shop specifically?
Yeah, sure. So just a quick introduction on what TikTok Shop is. So obviously, TikTok is a social networking platform, and within there, you have the opportunity to shop. So it's within its own ecosystem. It's very similar to Amazon, but it's all within TikTok. So you can discover products as you scroll through the feed, and you can add them to your basket. You can browse variations, and you can pay through the app itself. So you don't ever leave the platform to go onto a retailer's website. It all happens within the app, and it's super easy to buy. I think it's probably 3 to 5 clicks from discovery to confirmation. So it's revolutionized the way people shop on social. It's very different to how people shop on Facebook or Instagram or even Pinterest. And it's just growing and growing. So it's a really good opportunity. And if you're a retailer or you're wanting to sell on social, you really should be considering TikTok Shop.
Brilliant. Thanks for that. So what you can do is you can go into the back end of your website, add all your product data in. They go live on your site, obviously, but also choose which of those social channels you want each of the products to go live on. One of those channels is TikTok Shop. It looks like Amazon, like Rachel just said. The other one is live streaming through TikTok. So you can, a lot of people doing it from their warehouse. They're packing all of the orders live as they come through. And as people are watching you for 2 or 3 hours, which is what TikTok are basically recommending you do to get the most traffic, you can set keywords in the back end of our tool to say, if they write a comment and they say, wow, or I wish that was on sale, or whatever, if they say any of the keywords that you set up in the back end, you can use those keywords to target the customers better. So if they say, for example, wow, I really wish my mum had one of those, then you might think that is a person who's very likely to purchase. So you can do one thing, you can do a couple of things. You can set a keyword rule to say, I'm going to tag that customer to send them a different email marketing campaign later. So they get a custom promotion, if you like. Or you can just send them a buy button there and then directly in Instagram shop, buy it based on the fact that you said that particular keyword. You can also do auction based bidding if you want to negotiate basically with those viewers of the content. You can do that, and you can connect multiple different fan pages and multiple different, the English version of your TikTok account, the Spanish version of your TikTok account, all from one place. This is an example of what that looks like. On the left, I've got what the customer's basically seeing. I'm selling a mug. This is something like Denby would do, for example. They start a broadcast. They start showing what that mug looks like and the benefits of the mug. It's stronger. It's better than everyone else's mug. If I write a comment in the bottom, you can see in the middle what that comment would look like. They've clicked on that comment now. This is the cart page, and they go right through and they can check out directly. Slide issues. There we go. It can be more advanced than that. You can do games as well. If you've ever seen on Facebook, if you tag your friend at the end of a certain period of time, somebody gets a free gift card or a discount code or something, and it doesn't go to everybody directly. Rachel, I see lots of comments basically in the chat. Do you want me to go through those as I go, or keep going through the slides?
Should we do those at the end?
Yep. If there are just quick responses you want, if there's many questions I always ask, for example, how do you track your delivery? What about, do you have a sale period? You can set quick responses up, and you can leave comments directly in the conversation as you go. Obviously, all of those orders are going through to TikTok Shop, fulfilling that way, and you can track all of those orders, where your customers are coming from, all of those impressions, all the subsidiary data you see basically in the back end of those analytics pages come back through to your hub, basically, so you can use this data multi-channel. There's loads of new features also coming out in these social platforms like broadcasts, and post-based shopping, which I'll come on to in a minute. But the idea is you track everything in one place. This is what the message center looks like. So if you don't ever watch a live stream, you don't want to go live streaming at all, you think it's not fitting maybe with your brand, you can still list to obviously TikTok Shop, and you can still do posts and other content on the rest of the social channels. So if you do that, you have any presence at all on social channels, and they send you a message, like I said, in Instagram or Facebook Messenger or on WhatsApp, the same keywords and trigger rules that we just set up for the social live streaming can also target your customers in the message center. And that massively reduces, obviously, the operational effort of answering questions from loads of different places. This can be quite intelligent. We've got integrated ChatGPT. We have our own proprietary AI as well on this part of the technology, but also in the loyalty program and other systems, which I can talk about later. And it basically even tags the customer to say, if we think based on their comments and all of their messages, they're actually have an intent to buy, or they're a happy customer or not a happy customer. And you can do lots of really cool automations like approving reviews based on this AI, and that's getting even smarter as well. And this is really important in the fashion industry. A lot of our fashion customers are saying, actually, based on this intent and based on all of their order history and based on where they came from, maybe we don't want to offer free returns for obvious reasons. Okay, so you get a little chat bot on your website. So you can do the social stuff, but you can also comment directly on the website, and you can manage different operational customer service staff, their working hours, their shift patterns, and you can set rules for if somebody's not there to answer those questions, then I only let AI respond. And when AI responds, you can set a whole load of rules for like, actually, we don't want AI to answer this question. We'll wait until the morning where an actual human will answer the question. So you've got a lot of control in that area. The last one is post-based shopping. Similar rules again, but on posts that you might put for Black Friday. The same kind of rules as well, if you don't want to do either of the other two things. And this obviously leads really, really well onto affiliate-based marketing. If any of your brands have influencers and you're using tools to pay people to do videos for the brand and get your name recognition out there a bit more, then we have a tool which basically makes that easier as well. So for any of the other social channels that I just mentioned, you can pay for and discover new influencers on YouTube as well, and get them into an affiliate marketing program, pay them commission directly through PayPal for doing a video. If somebody clicks on their link or buys something through their TikTok, for example, they'll have a dashboard to track which products are selling the most, and which products maybe are not doing the most, and how much commission they earn for each product over time. So all the payment is included as well. This shows what that looks like from a live shopping perspective. So this is an influencer. She's going live on multiple different channels at the same time, doing all the things I just mentioned, but she gets paid for any orders she makes. This is what it looks like on the front end of your website as well. So you can even have multi-tier affiliate marketing programs. So if I am now an influencer and I want to recruit new influencers, I can give a link to Rachel, for example. She can start selling on her TikTok and get also commission for selling the same products. And brands are able to set rules for not overselling and how many tiers that can go into, so that you're not creating a massive mess, basically. But it's really good for driving new traffic to all of these different channels and tracking the data all in one place. And that's everything from my side. So I'll pass back to you, Anne.
You're on mute, Anne.
Excellent. Thank you for that. Rachel, did you want to put a little bit more context about selling on TikTok? Do you want to share your slides?
Yeah, sure. Let me share my screen 1 second. Go back to the beginning. So these are my slides. If anybody's joined any of my webinars previously, you might have seen some of these slides before, and I did do some of them at the Epic conference, but they are obviously relevant to today. Can you see that okay?
Yes, we might need to put them in the handouts as well.
Okay, no problem. So the basis of my presentation, I've shortened it, so I've just took a few snippets of the most important things here. But the basis of my presentation is, this is after running TikTok shop ads for a client for over a year and generated over 1 million in revenue. This is everything I've learned and what I would recommend if you were starting from scratch. And the first thing I obviously would recommend that you do is open up a TikTok shop. So it is such a big opportunity. And I really feel like retailers who aren't on TikTok shop are missing out on so much money because it is growing really rapidly. And there's case studies of brands which have grown from nothing to huge, huge businesses in months. So it's a huge opportunity there. I can't stress it enough. So open up a TikTok shop. It's very easy. If you have a fewer number of products, you can manually upload them into the platform. If you have more SKUs, you can integrate with Shopify and other big websites. So it's quite an easy setup. If you have a custom website, it is a bit more difficult. But there are integrations that can help with that. That is just an additional cost for the third-party tool. If you're on Shopify, a lot of people are on Shopify, it's a super easy integration. So as I mentioned before, TikTok Shop is a shopping experience within the app. So you're scrolling on TikTok, you see a video which tags, let's say, a water bottle. You can click into that product tag. You can see all the information about the water bottle. So you'll see pictures, you'll see the product description, you'll see the variations and the price. And if you decide to buy it, you can put it in your basket and you can check out within the app. All of your delivery information, delivery updates, all that sort of thing, you get notifications in the app. So you don't ever leave the platform. And personally, I think that is such, it's a better user experience because it's not really interrupting what you're there for, which is scrolling for enjoyment, essentially. And you can just resume back to scrolling after you've made that purchase. Before TikTok launched TikTok Shop ads, it was really difficult to get people to leave the app and to go onto a website and purchase something there. And this was probably a couple of years ago when we did the switch to running only TikTok Shop ads, because once somebody's scrolling in TikTok, it's really hard to actually get them off the feed. And that's why people spend so long scrolling through the app. And I saw a bit of information recently that was quite interesting. And the difference between TikTok and another app such as Instagram is that there's no natural break. So when you're scrolling through the feed, let's say you have a video that is half on the screen, the video below it is already playing. So you don't have that opportunity to break from your attention span. Whereas when you're scrolling on Instagram, you have the bit where you have the caption at the bottom. So there is a natural break where you can just decide, oh, I'm bored of this, I'm going to put my phone down. So because of that addictive nature, it's really hard to leave TikTok and to ask people to go onto your website and look at products and buy eventually. So TikTok Shop has made a really big difference in the commercial viability for businesses advertising on there. Treat it like
levels of social media addiction, I would say.
Yeah. You should think about TikTok Shop like Amazon. It's a very similar sort of marketplace to Amazon. You have a shop tab, so you can browse all sorts of products on your shop tab. It sells all sorts of products on there, from clothing items to gadgets to gardening products. Like, there are such varieties on there. And it is very price orientated. So people go on there expecting to get good value, good discounts, and hopefully the cheapest price out of all of the different marketplaces. So as I've mentioned previously, if you're relying on users to leave the platform and visit your website to purchase, you're missing an opportunity. So you need to make the switch to TikTok Shop ads. There has been a really big change in TikTok Shop ads, but I've included some new slides at the bottom and we'll go through that. So these are some different examples of purchasing opportunities on TikTok. So we have the shop tab on the left. As you can see, it's just by this screenshot, it is a huge range of different products. So these are products that I've sort of, I say browsed. This McDonald's bag was actually a handbag, and I thought, what on earth is this? So I clicked on it. I'm not actually interested in this awful bag. But these are products that I've sort of been looking at. So clothes, books, makeup brushes, you know, that sort of thing. So everybody's shop interface will look slightly different, and it's based on your browsing behaviors. So everything is tailored to you. Then secondly, we have product tags within the ad. So this small box here, that is where you can see a product tag. So every TikTok Shop video will have this, where you can click through and then it will open up to something similar like the shop tab. And that's where you can go through the process of purchasing. On the third, we have affiliate videos. So anybody who's on TikTok can become an affiliate. And I think you have to have like a minimum amount of followers. I don't think it's much. I think it's like 500 followers, something like that. They might have changed that now. But anybody can become an affiliate. You basically tag a product in your videos and you can make money from the commission. So it's changed the perspective of influencers quite a lot. So influencers now on TikTok are everyday people. They're not the same people that we used to consider influencers on Instagram, for example. So it's opened the doors for a lot of people to make money on the platform. And that has actually increased now. So TikTok, we'll discuss this more at the end, but TikTok have launched something called GMV Max. And it is really, really heavily reliant on affiliate creative. So if you've ever thought about becoming a content creator or an affiliate, now is the time to do it, because the ad platforms need these videos to run. So there's a lot of opportunity and money to be made as a content creator on there at the moment. And then lastly, we have TikTok Lives. So as you can see in this screenshot here, this lady is trying to sell a perfume. they will go through different products and they will pin it at the bottom. So lives are very commercial. It's like teleshopping on TikTok. So people join lives hoping to get a discount or the best price possible. So in general, low cost items with little consideration generally work the best. If you're scrolling and you see a product, obviously the lower cost, the more impulse it will be to buy. So that's why things generally work best like that. But the platform has changed a lot, and the remarketing that you get once you interact with a product is quite heavy. So even higher price point items work well on the platform now, because there's a lot of remarketing. There's a lot of content that you will see after you interact with one product. So people begin to learn, obviously, the different variations, the USPs of the product. They might see different prices depending on different days. Like TikTok vary their prices with deal drops, things like that. So even higher price point items are selling well on the platform.
Brilliant. Thank you, Rachel.
No problem. I have a few other slides. Are we running out of time?
No, the opposite. We've got lots of time. I wasn't sure.
Okay. I've got quite a few to go through. Not loads, but
no, we're not at 9:30 yet, so you've got lots of time. Sorry, I thought that was a big pause and that was the end of what you had to say, but
no, we've got a few more. So just to touch on how to work with affiliates. So the best way to do it is to offer a higher commission to creators. So on TikTok Shop, you have the option when you upload your products to set a commission rate. So TikTok will take 9% off you when you sell a product. And then you have an option on top of that to say, I want to give creators X amount for every sale they make. Usually that's about 10%. And that can vary from 0 to 30. But to generate interest and to get your product out there, the best way and easiest way to do that is to offer a higher commission, even if it's on just a couple of products.
And would you just do that for a short time? Because I had one, I was talking to one client, they sell socks, you know who it is now. And they were scared off by that because they said, well, by the time I paid 9% for TikTok and 30%, I don't think they realised it was almost like a launch offer and you wouldn't maintain that. Is that right?
Yeah, you don't have, you can change that whenever you want to. And you don't have to offer a high commission constantly, because obviously that could be quite risky for you. But to get your products off the ground and to get people talking about them and making videos, which is essential to run ads now, the best way to do that is just to offer a high commission at the beginning to get people requesting samples and then creating their own videos. So you can change that when you feel that you've got enough videos created, essentially.
And I'm guessing, David, from your point of view, you know what the margin is at the back end and whether people can make profit or not on what percentage they can afford to offer, I'm guessing.
Yeah, and you can even ring fence stock. So after these amount of stock is sold in TikTok Shop, then we take it off.
Okay, cool. So I'll turn my mic off, otherwise I'll keep asking questions. We've got quite a lot of questions in the chat, so we'll come back to those soon.
Okay. So once you've sent a sample to a content creator, there is a commitment that they have to do, and that's to either include it in a live for a certain amount of seconds. I can't remember how many seconds off the top of my head, or create a video about it. Most people do create a video about it. And this is what fuels your ad campaigns now. So it's really, really important to have a bank of these videos if you want to run ads. If you can, choose products with high profit margins to cover both your offered commission and your TikTok fee, because obviously once you've added them both together, that could be quite a big chunk. So you need to make sure that you can still make a profit from these products that you choose to offer a higher commission on. This one is very important, actually, and it's more important now GMV Max has launched. So create content. This was some advice that I gave in August. I think I did this presentation to begin with, maybe June, I can't remember. June, July, August. It was in the summer anyway. At that point, GMV Max wasn't, it hadn't launched. Nobody knew. Could you
explain what GMV Max is? Because nobody's going to know what that is.
Yeah, so GMV Max is the only way that you can advertise through TikTok Shop now. So previous to GMV Max, you used to, it was like any other advertising platform where you could run sales campaigns and use like audience targeting, the normal way that you would set up any other ads campaign on any platform. It was the same as that. And in September, TikTok had flipped it on its head and has created this automated advertising software called GMV Max. And this is is based on products really now. So instead of setting the audiences, you don't do that anymore. It basically automates the targeting to users based on their interactions with products. And the only really way that you can have any control over this, obviously you can set your ROI, you can change your budget. And the last one is you can manage the creatives that are being used in the campaigns. And products without any creatives don't sell. They do not generate any revenue on ads now, and it makes it very, very difficult. So this is why we're so heavily reliant on creative now. So the advice I would have given in the summer is you don't have to create content, but it's best if you do. My opinion on that has changed now because GMV Max relies so heavily on content that if you don't have affiliates to create content for you, you need to be making this organic content yourself, because this is what fuels your ads. So you need to be creating content on every possible item that you sell in your shop, so that each item has a creative to use in the ads.
Just to go back then, when we've done shopping ads in the past, we would rely on a shopping feed that we'd get from an e-commerce website, such as Shopline. And now what's basically saying that you can't rely on that. It's only really going to be showing creative video content in the ads, and you need your creator influencer network or yourselves to create that content.
Yeah, definitely. And this advice is specific to TikTok Shop. So TikTok still has the option to run regular ad campaigns that drive traffic to your website. But as we know from years of running TikTok ads, the best way to make money is through TikTok Shop. People don't generally leave the platform and go and buy on somebody else's website. So this information that I'm giving you is specific to TikTok Shop.
I mean, we actually had a case study, didn't we, on that, where we were finalists in the e-commerce awards last year, and that was, I mean, the number of people going across to the website meant that it was very cheap traffic, but it was effectively a ROAS of 1. So every pound we spent, we made £1. But as soon as you stuck it into TikTok Shop and run those ads, the ROAS was well over 5 to 1. ROAS stands for revenue, return on ad spend. So basically for every £10 we spent, we were making 50. And that particular client didn't really want to get more than a 5 to 1 ratio, because they actually wanted the volume. You know, they'd rather have more sales at 5 to 1 and get new customers than have a 10 to 1. So it was a massive difference. Okay, you carry on, Rachel. I'll ask some questions at the end.
Just a note here, obviously, if you don't have the person in-house to create this sort of content, there are so many content creator freelancers that you could work with. And I think this is probably a more cost-effective option, because the output is going to be obviously higher quality and do better on the platform. So if you don't have that person, I do think it's worth making, just putting the money in there, putting the time in there, and finding somebody to create that content for you. We're close to the end now. So one of the points, obviously we mentioned this earlier in the presentation as well. So use TikTok Live consistently. So if you go live at the same time each week, obviously we said earlier about going live for 3 hours, as that's recommended for the algorithm. Definitely recommend that. And if you can do it on the same day, people look forward to these lives. So they know, okay, on Thursday, Anicca's going live and they're going to sell X at this discount. So people know and expect your lives to come. If you have the same presenter, that's a bonus. So one of our clients, they go live every week for 3 hours on the same day, and they have the same presenter, and she's become like a little celebrity on TikTok. Everybody knows her. People will ask about her holidays, ask what she's been up to since the last week, and it keeps users coming back. And it's a really nice trust building, brand building exercise to associate an actual real person with the face of the brand. Incentivize your lives with exclusive deals. Quite often, my client that runs TikTok lives, if they see people interacting with products whilst the live is on, or they see products in people's baskets but they haven't purchased, they make the decisions there and then to say, we see all these people with this product in their basket. Why is nobody buying? What if we give you 10% off this product? Will you buy it? And it just gets the ball rolling, and everybody's really excited. It is like teleshopping on TikTok Shop, and it's great, to be honest. It's a really fun way of selling. It's best to have a studio space if you can. Obviously, like we mentioned earlier, a lot of people do like packing in their warehouses and things. Quite often you will see like a set design like this, and it really doesn't need to be anything special. Usually it is just a shelf in the background with the products, and they have a selection of products on the front, and that is good enough. So I've included how impactful that would be here. So obviously on the right hand side here, this is a cardboard cutout set. It's being held up on a cardboard box there. This is nothing special, but if you look to the left, it's really impactful on screen. So it doesn't have to be anything over the top or flash, but the visual impact it can have on screen is huge. And then lastly, obviously, run TikTok shop ads. So I've included a few slides on what GMV Max is. This launched on September the 2nd, and it is the only way that we can advertise now. So campaigns optimize on something called gross merchandise value. So GMV means gross merchandise value, and that is the sales from the whole of TikTok shop. So it isn't ad specific now. So it has made it a bit difficult to attribute the effectiveness of ads. But unfortunately, that's just what we have to deal with now. So we're looking at total channel return of investment, not just what's sold through the ads. As I've mentioned, it's creative first. So you really do need an abundance of creative to do well on this type of automated ad platform. And this will take content from your TikTok feed posts, your affiliate links. You obviously will have the product shopping feed as well in there. Although I have seen from what we've ran so far for the last month, most of the budget gets allocated to videos in the feed rather than the product shopping feed. And you also obviously can generate sales through lives in this way as well. They have GMV Max for ads and they have GMV Max for lives. And that is the end. So has there been quite a few questions in the chat? Let me stop sharing so I can see you guys again. Oh, Anne, you're on mute.
Keep doing that. Sorry. I think this one's probably best for David. So what they're interested in knowing is when you're using TikTok Shop, how can you communicate or email the person? Because it's a bit like Amazon, you don't get that email contact. But I'm guessing if you're running a live and you're running it through Shopline, have you got any information about who it is that's saying wow or OMG, those tagging that you were talking about?
Yeah, so that data comes back into Shopline. It's I don't know the technical details behind it. I can share them at the end, Anne, but a lot of that data, including the email address, comes back through to Shopline, so you can target them through emails.
Is that because they've bought or because they're engaging in the live?
Just the engagement.
Yeah. Actually. Oh, really?
If they buy, obviously, like Rachel said, that order comes through from TikTok back into Shopline, and then any shipment data goes back up into TikTok. So that's quite seamless. But yeah, it's the engagement data as well, which we're really looking for.
And I'm guessing there will be other people with other platforms, and I'm guessing TikTok does integrate with quite a lot. Is there any platforms that you found it more difficult to integrate TikTok Shop with, Rachel?
Custom websites. that's very hard. In all honesty, my experience of using TikTok is using all of the tools within the platform. So generally, we don't use any other integrations.
Okay, some of them have got pretty much plug and play integrations, haven't they?
Yeah.
Whereas I think Magento is a little bit more awkward, isn't it, to integrate?
Yeah, so that would be the same sort of process as a custom website.
You've got to buy a third party or some other intermediary. Okay, so let's go through a couple of other things. The thing you guys haven't talked about, which I'm really interested in knowing, is, and Rachel and I had this conversation about a year about the average order value and the types of products that sell, and also where you can get the research from. So I think this is relevant to both of you. So David, based on your experience, what's happening particularly over in Asia, what type of products are particularly good for lives? And then Rachel, if you could talk about how you can find that information out and what your experience is. So David, if you want to take that one first, what type of products do you think work particularly well on on lives and TikTok Shop, etc.?
Yeah, I've got some data on what sells well on Shopline as a whole and through socials, but I'm not sure what TikTok's actual answer is on this. But we're seeing lots of people sell fashion, homewares, and health and beauty is becoming more and more popular as well.
And do you know what the sort of average order value is of those sorts of products? Is it sort of sub £50 or sub
I don't know the exact number,
£25?
but it is the lower value items, yeah. But some of our more higher value item brands are also trying it. But yeah, it's usually the lower value item products at the moment.
Rachel, what's your experience on that?
Well, obviously, lower priced items have less consideration, but I don't think that should stop anybody from trying out TikTok Shop. I think something less than £50, something less than £40 possibly would work well. So you'll see on TikTok now, there's a lot of like clothing retailers, which we probably wouldn't have seen probably like last year. So I do think the purchasing behaviors have changed. But what is really useful is, let me share a link in this chat. So TikTok have a tool called the Creative Center.
You can share your screen if you want.
Oh, okay. Let me share my screen. So you have to be using desktop to actually see this, and you have to be logged in. But in Creative Center, there's lots of helpful things. I use this quite a lot. But one of the tabs, you can see the popularity of products on there. So you can obviously search for the country, you can search for your category, and you can change the date range. So if your
popularity, if I remember, is the number of ads, isn't it? If you look it up.
Yeah. So it's based on ads. This data is. So obviously it's probably not the most reliable, because you want to see, you really would want to see the amount of products listed on the shop rather than the retailers that are running ads. But it gives you an idea as to how popular these different categories are. So you can search for your categories here. I filtered it accidentally by the wrong thing, and you can see it has so many chair covers. We sell all sorts on TikTok now. It is really turning into Amazon. Hiking sticks. So if you're unsure about whether your product would sell on there, have a look to see what the information is there, and also have a look organically on the shop to see, search the category, search the product, and see what other retailers are selling on there for what prices and what products they're listing as well.
So it's definitely going to be probably lower value projects, lifestyle, B2C, I would say. Yeah. Is there any B2B products that you guys have seen on TikTok Shop at all? Office, office chairs, office stationery.
Possibly. There's station. I know 100% there's stationery on TikTok, but I've seen those ads from a B2C perspective. And I think that's because obviously what I see on TikTok is based on my browsing behavior and my interests. So I haven't personally seen anything B2B on there, but I haven't looked for it. So that's probably why.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got a question from Anastasia. What does TikTok force sellers to use AI? Is it the only way to place your ads? I think you probably have to differentiate between TikTok Shop ads and the other ads that you can use on TikTok.
Yeah. So for TikTok Shop, yes, we have to use the AI automated feature now. There is no other way to run TikTok Shop ads. It felt like it came out of nowhere. I found out about it by accident about a month before from our TikTok rep, and they actually announced the launch of this about 2 weeks out from September the 2nd. So advertisers didn't have long to get their stuff together and sort this out. If you want to run ads driving traffic to your website, all the like the normal style of advertising that we're used to is available. So running awareness campaigns, running traffic campaigns, sales campaigns, but that's driving traffic to your website. All of those features are still there as before. So the changes and the automated features only apply to TikTok Shop ads.
A couple more questions then. So would TikTok help you to sell training courses?
I've seen quite a few ads promoting training courses on there, but because they're not a product, obviously you can't use the TikTok Shop feature. You can only use the regular advertising. So you'd be looking at ads that are focused on lead generation or driving people to your website to come and convert on your website as a lead. So you can do that for sure. It would just be a very different strategy to what I've explained today with TikTok Shop.
And Sanji wants to ask about what commission do they actually expect. So although we talked about go high to start with and come down, do you want to say what you think happens on TikTok, and I'll give a more general affiliate marketing answer to that?
Yeah. So in general, most of the products are categorized at about 10%. Some products just don't even have a commission on them. You can reach out to specific content creators and offer them a higher commission rate if you want to work with specific people. So it's all different depending on the people, the brand, what they want to achieve. But as a standard, it is around 10%.
So if you compare that with, say, paid on results or AWin or one of the traditional affiliate networks that you use as a matchmaker, because effectively TikTok's got its own creator network, whereas if you were selling through your website and you wanted to use affiliates, you would probably pay between 8 and 10%. But remember, whatever you pay, you then pay. So say it was 10%, you then pay 3% to the network and a monthly fee. But if you add that up, that's still going to be less than the 9% commission that you're paying to TikTok. So affiliates is generally a really good option. So you need to look at things like pay on results and AWin. Now, AWin's got two schemes. So they have like a starter for beginners, and they have something for more established brands, but then the monthly fee is quite expensive. And to be honest, it doesn't really matter. You can be on several of these networks because most of the affiliates will be on all of them. But I would choose the one that's got the lowest cost for your circumstances. Now, actually, that's a good segue over to you, David, because one of the advantages of Shopline, it's really, really easy to get started, particularly if you're doing e-commerce for the first time. Could you talk to me a little bit about how easy it is to set up a shop and the offer that you've got on at the moment? So, because there was quite a few people that were planning to sell online and probably aren't at the moment, and they may not have got anything set up. So could you possibly give us a bit of an introduction to that, please?
Yeah, I'll put a link in the chat in a minute. I see you've already put one in. You can go to our website and you can start a free trial for 14 days. You don't need to be a developer. You can just drag and drop all your brand assets in, create your website without being a developer. And there's 60 core components of things we think all brands need to sell online successfully, like loyalty, email marketing, a chatbot message center, like advanced promotions, page builder, like loads of things, basically. You can get up and running really quickly. We launched a major international luxury brand in 2 months, which is actually really good for a large enterprise. But some people have gone live in the same day, and including linking to platforms like TikTok. If you go through and set up that free trial link that's in the chat,
I'll get a cleaner one. That one was a bit messy.
Okay. That will give you 14 days for free. We probably can extend that a little bit, but also if you're interested in cheaper payment rates for your website, we can provide a coupon code that will give it.
Can you explain that? Because I don't think people understand how you buy websites now. You know, the different components of what you need to pay for if you're selling on an e-commerce website.
Yeah, sure. So if you're starting out, it's basically £20 a month to have your own website. That's all of the hosting, all of those tools that I just mentioned. That price goes up depending on how much money you put through the platform. But basically, you pay a payment rate for every transaction. It's not 9%, it's 1.8%. And what we'll do is give you a coupon code that will lower that to 1.2% of every transaction for the first 3 months, just to get you going.
And obviously, when you're creating a website for the first time, you've got lots of templates and things. You know, people can have their own logos and stuff. But I'm guessing the bit that takes the time is loading the products up. So if you've got all your products in, say, an Excel or CSV file, is there an easy upload of those products?
Yeah, so as long as it's in a CSV file, you can drag and drop that in. Just like all of the other brand assets, like the logo, all the banners and things you want to upload, just drag and drop them in. and you should be good to go pretty quickly.
And is there like training videos for people that are completely new to this?
Yeah, I'll find one and put it in the chat just now.
Yeah. So you don't have to go and pay for a developer to set it up for you. That's what I'm trying to get to, you know, because developers will typically charge sort of for a new first-time site would probably charge 3 to 5K as a starter site. Would you say that's a typical cost, or would it be more expensive than that?
I think it depends on what you need, really. But the idea is that you should be able to get up and running quickly and easily and do it yourself. And then obviously, if you want to customize your store and make it look totally different, then you're fully able to do that. And we can put you in touch with people to do that.
And just to Rachel then, do some people have TikTok shops without having a website at all? Can they just load their products into TikTok shop without needing a website? Or does that bring some disadvantages of not sort of seeing the data behind the scenes like you would if the data was going into Shopline?
No, they can do that. I think obviously that probably would only really benefit people who are small businesses who haven't got a website set up yet. But having a website on TikTok shop isn't, obviously you stay within the platform. Everything is within the platform. So if you're a small business that could manage the inventory, the orders, all of that thing from within TikTok, then yeah, you can do that if you want, if you're a very small business.
But I'm guessing there's quite a big advantage of trying to develop your own brand, but also some of the features like the email marketing and the loyalty and stuff that Shopline offer. So so you wouldn't be doing it for very long, would you? Because I mean, a lot of people do that with things like Etsy and stuff like that, don't they? They'll sell on sites like Etsy as well.
Yeah, I think it's best if people are just, you know, wanting to get off the ground with their new business. It is possible, but it's not something I would generally recommend.
Brilliant. I don't think there's any more questions. Let me just see if there's anything else. Yeah, so Aim has asked a bit more about email and how you'd gain their email addresses. I guess if you've got an integrated shop, you'd get them there. But even if you just logged into the back of TikTok, do they give you the email addresses? Because Amazon do they?
TikTok doesn't either within the platform.
Okay. David, any advice on getting email addresses from customers that have come from social without breaking the policies? Because we start to step into areas where, you know, I'll verbally talk to a few people individually about this, ways that you can get it, but it's not something that we would publicly endorse because you're usually going against the policies of the platform.
It's a bit too technical for me, that one, Anne, but we can get somebody to support if needed. Yeah,
I mean, you have to be a little bit careful because if people think that you're trying to, you know, scrape their data, they don't like it very much. Amazon's, you can get blacklisted off places like Amazon quite easily, so you do have to be really careful. I think that's probably, yeah. Do we need a plugin to link WooCommerce to TikTok?
This is off the top of my head, but I think WooCommerce is one of the ones that can integrate easily with TikTok. And I'm pretty sure you can do that directly through Seller Center. It would be best having a look at the Seller Center information. So just Google that. And there's so much information about how to set TikTok Shop up and what it integrates with.
I'll just look it up while we're on. Okay, well, I think we've probably reached the end of the questions. I just would do a little bit of a thank you for the guys, unless there's anything else. Yeah, there's a direct and official link between TikTok and WooCommerce enabled by TikTok for WooCommerce extension, free plugin. So let me just see if I can get that for you. I'll stick it in the chat. It's amazing what you can find out in Google or ChatGPT or your preferred search engine. Okay, so thanks very much for that, guys. I really appreciate it. Just a few things, that's what's happening at Anicca at the moment. So I've just mentioned we've got the e-commerce lunch next Thursday, which is I'm going to be talking about all our voice agents. that you can use for both e-commerce and lead generation. I'll be showing you what I've been building behind the scenes. So if any of you are interested in that, we've got free trials of secret-agents.ai at the moment. So if any of you want to test some new, some amazing AI tools, please go and have a look at Secret Agents. We think we're going to be extending the free trial up until Christmas. But if you want any of the paid ones, then obviously there is the VIP stuff as well that we're building. Next week's webinar is Pete. He's talking about paid media. I'm not sure exactly what he's talking about, so you're welcome to go and have a look at that. And then finally, if you've enjoyed what you've seen today, if you could leave us a review, mention Rachel and David and Shopline's name, that would be amazing. Appreciate that. That's really tiny. I need to change that. I keep on saying every time, I think there's over 600 reviews now. I'll do that straight after this call. Thank you very much, everybody. And we'll see you next week. Thanks very much, David. And thanks very much, Rachel.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.